Friends, selection in UPSC is something appears like the most enigmatic puzzle for a common student. Over past 27 years of teaching, what I could observe that over the years UPSC has transformed uh, in different layers in different years. As you know that from 2010 onwards, it has entered into a new kind of landscape. Now the question comes in place, and over last 13-14 years, the entire focus was there on the GS, and that is why past 13-14 years what we are watching, that most of the coachings which are mushrooming around Delhi, Hyderabad and big city, they are run after in the name of GS only. But then if you look deeper, what exactly counts in the selection? Because as you know that in India, civil services is the mother of all exam. So it always comes with some benchmark. But then what exactly we need to, go through the course, like what should be the real, orientation of the preparation, which takes us nearer to the goal. If you look at, if you observe very closely in last 4 or 5 years, results, you will find that GS is not at all working. Old perceptions are not working. Sometimes even in the prelims, they are not asking, current affairs questions. Sometimes plethora of questions. So UPSC keeps on, changing the pattern of the exam. Now, the question comes in place that what is the role of optional nowadays? Many, pundits, UPSC pundits, had prophesied 20 years back, there will be no regime of optional. But to the utter surprise of everyone, optional is still there. And if you look deeper, you will find that optional is very much decisive. Why I am telling you decisive? Because at the time when people are called after getting 35-40% marks in the mains exam, they are getting called for interview. If you count the marks weightage of optional, that is very high. If UPSC nowadays conducted for 1750, then weightage of optional itself is 500 marks out of this. And then if you count another essay, it becomes 250. And one, nowadays it has been recently added ethics and integrity, again 250. So paper 4 GS, and then essay, and then optional, whatever you have, itself counts 1000 marks. So you just see weightage of 1000 marks in 1750. So it comes almost around more than 50%, right? Whereas the cutoff is just 35 to 40%. Sometimes toppers are getting not more than 50%. So here more than 50% comes through the 3 segment only: optional, essay and paper 4, that is ethics and integrity. You may verify it, don't believe on what coaching institute contents, don't believe on those facts. Simply go and have a perusal of last 4 or 5 year marks, which is already floating on the internet, and those who got top 10 ranks and whatever ranks, and you will be astonished to know nowadays these 3 things are becoming very important in your selection. So that is why people are now focusing upon optional. Maybe we do not know, even after 2-3 years again the optional regime will start, because already this discussion is happening in the corridors of UPSC, that whether the previous officers were better or the present one, right? That discussion is already on. I don't think in near future there is any scope of removing optional for UPSC. So optional is still one of the greatest boon uh, for the UPSC aspirants. Now the question comes in place, my dear friend, what sort of optional exist in UPSC? Say for example, there are three types of optional which are there in UPSC, dear friends. If you look at one optional age, you know, you can call it the dry optional. Dry optional. Why I am calling it? Because say for example, this is your GS and this is your optional, right? Then this optional, suppose A is the optional and G is the GS. This A optional doesn't overlaps a single marks in the GS. That means if you are preparing for optional, you are not screening a single marks of GS, right? Or else you are screening very little like this, right? So these optional I often call it as dry optionals, right? But then what are the second kind of optional? Second kind of optional are, you can call it, I generally call it as, you know, what we call, uh, it is going to give you some kind of a spice, like a spicy optional. That means the optional which overlaps in the GS as well. Say for example, there are some optional like public ad, you know, history and pol science. If you look at their weightage, they screen very high, they overlap very high in the GS. If this is the GS, right, this will be the history optional. That means, you know, this will be the history optional. That means what? If you are, you know, studying GS, already you are covering 40 to 50% optional, right? So that means you have to go for only 40 to 50% preparation for history optional, right? But then nobody tells us this, because in Delhi it has been proven that they simply do the IVAS, and most of the coachings are interview based coaching. They don't even take the headache of optional. They were not having the optional also. Now they have, because after CCPA notice, now they have become serious. Otherwise 30,000 students studying and not even 10 real selections are coming. You can imagine what is happening in Delhi. I will not tell you because they are the pundits. I don't want to meddle myself into those pundits area. I can only tell you that, you know, don't believe on me also. You can verify on all these facts whether it is fact or not. Maybe I have my own you know, intention or whatever. So don't go by anybody's contention. UPSC is the ultimate authority. Believe on UPSC and you will find out what I am telling. Don't, you know, trust even me. Simply go by the prescribed UPSC syllabus, question bank, and what is coming in UPSC will find out the answer. Because see, over 27 years, I never told anybody to join my optional because I am teaching history. No. You join whatever optional, but there are a few basic criteria. One criteria I just revealed you, that whether the optional is spicy or dry. If it is dry, you have to go extra length for that, because in UPSC strategy is also very important. Like, you can't skip history. Why you can't skip history? Because the weightage of history is very high. In GS also, you look at the GS paper 1, you know, 40% questions are coming directly or indirectly from history. GS paper 2, you know, can you understand the basics of international relation without knowing the world history? You know, can you understand, you know, the constitution in making without the historic background, how these constitutions developed in history? So in paper 2 also the role of history is very high. And you know, as far as, you know, this your selections, as far as the selection is concerned, you will find that three things are very important now: essay, paper 4, and whatever optional you choose. Again, in essay, if you go deeper in essay, you will find that history is helping you out in citing the examples, historical evidence that makes your answer very strong, consolidated. Here again, fourth area where history is going to help out: history has its own modus operandi of writing answers. You will understand the real methodology how to write answers. So then the question comes in place. There are many myths. It's totally loaded with the facts. It's a static subject. It's boring subject. This that. I will tell you very simple thing. It's something like, the grapes are sour. There is a saying, because you cannot access there. I have seen people qualifying history. I have seen, Shruti Sharma got All India rank 1 with history. So set aside qualifying. Now the rankers number 1 are coming from history. Not only that, Mr. Barnwal way back in 96 was a ranker with history. Many people got rank 1 with history also. So leave aside, because many people will tell you, yeah, sir, number is more in history, but rankers are not coming. So that is also a myth. Secondly, people will tell you history is not a mark fetching subject. May I tell you one thing, dear friends? History is highly a mark fetching subject. Those who tell you, I tell you very simple formula you may understand. What is the cutoff now people are getting in, subjects? You will be astonished to know that what is the cutoff people are getting nowadays, right? What is the cutoff? You will be astonished to know what is the cutoff nowadays people getting. Dear friends, 35 to 40% is the cutoff when you are called for the interview. And many a times toppers, total mark is not exceeding even 55 or 60%. That means what? Then how come you say that history is not mark fetching when history people are getting 320? History people are getting 327, people are getting 319, 317. Then it is more than 60%. Now out of 500 you may calculate, right? How come you say this, that history is not mark fetching? Secondly, people generally blame that it is totally, factual and dates and so many things. You show me 5 years question, you don't get a single question related to date or whatever thing which is related to cramming or ratification. You will be astonished to know nowadays it's completely the narrative based history and gospel based history. In the non-human history, gospel is the best art to deliver. I used to deliver in gospel style. People used to laugh at me. Now they face the questions that is coming in gospel style and narrative style. So it is quite easier to understand. When you go by the gospel and a story, it becomes quite easier. So whomsoever told you, because they can't reach there, they can't deliver in gospel style, because for delivering in gospel style, you need to study on each single topic at least sometimes 150 books, 200 books. Then only you will be so comfortable to deliver in gospel style. Otherwise, you will deliver in factual style, and that is why it is not about history. It is about those who are delivering history. That is really something horrible. And that is why we are, a next problem is that we are not having optional faculty. If you talk about South India, I do not know anyone who teaches history optional. So if we start here at Future India, that will be really, unique thing here, because that will be a great support, that can screen people going Delhi. Delhi people are dying. People are reckless at Karol Bagh. And now CCPA has also revealed that coachings are simply playing with the sentiments of the people. They are not doing justice, right? Here at least some accountability will be there, because you are local. You may ask your teacher, sir, I want this here. Feedback system will be there. That you won't get there in Delhi. So what we need for history optional? Then people will say a static subject. Static is very beneficial for UPSC, because if it is a static, chances are very high that question will be repeated. And that the same happens in history. If questions are repeated, then definitely, measuring them will be very easy. The same is not the case with public ed and sociology paper 2 and anthropology paper 2 also, because sometimes they ask very dynamic question. And in India, believe me, nobody teaches dynamic area so judiciously. So that is a big challenge. That is not going to happen in history. So dear friends, still on those counts also history is quite safe, you can trust with. Right. And already I told you that these are all the myths which I am going to deconstruct you today, because these myths are not working now. People are telling that yes, history is not very scoring and this that. So these myths are also not working nowadays. Now, in every question, you know why I am telling you history. History is all about presenting your vision, your mindset, your ideology. So once you know this art, the same art you apply in polity, in economy, in different subjects. So in that way also history is giving you something which is unique, a new art, a new skill of learning, which is definitely going to rock in UPSC. Now, you see what is happening. People are getting 327. See, 327, 2018, one guy got 327. Just count out of 500, how much is 327? Isn't it more than 60%? If it is more than 60%, you can check the marks also. These are some marks, and you see this guy got only 99 in JS paper 3, and even then he are getting 1037 and getting selected. Right? Just imagine. Just imagine. This is what happening. Right? This is what I was trying to share with you. So dear friends, my motive is, and here when I am, trust on me, 27 years I have given the services. You can check the testimonials. One of my student, Garima Malik, is IG Patna. Dhruv Gupta, IG Chhattisgarh. There are Muhammad Harris, who has got, Mysore collector, Muhammad Nadeem, IPS. I have given n number of students. I cannot name you also as many students under my own personal guidance. Dear friends, you can trust a person with having 27 years of track record, consistently performing, and now I promise you, wherever I believe, I don't live in the middle of my task. So when I join a place, I will be here with full integrity and solidarity. I will finish up my task till somebody gets selected from here. Dear friends, relation with the teacher and mentor and a student is something eternal. It is not the relationship of one day or 2 days. So if I am into 27 in the industry 27 years, definitely your trust, your confidence has given me so much of esteem to stay here into the industry. Dear friends, now I am here, and now whatever small is the place, it hardly matters. It's because UPSC is a journey between teacher and a student. Here, believe me, I believe in 100% qualitative coverage of the syllabus first. Number two, I believe in encountering all the questions from 1979 till 2023 or 24, whatever coming in for mains. Every question will be detailed, elaborately analyzed. Thirdly, every day I believe in giving homework and task in mains answer writing practice, and giving you the elaborate mains model, large language model writing system. There is a difference between writing 250 words question, 150 words question, 50 word question. How these differences are measured? What are the parameters? Fourthly, you also need to know what exactly is the parameter of UPSC. Over the years, we know that what works and what doesn't work. It came through the experience. Maybe new guys cannot catch it up, and then believe me, it will be in a gospel style, personal mentorship style. Every individual counts for us. But yes, batches will be, of a small strength, and I don't believe in teaching 300% at a time. So it will be maximum 50 to 60 people batch kind of thing, a small batches. This is a serene environment of Eluru where you can study. It's a wonderful place. Future India, that they are giving free services to, the poor people. So money is not the constraint here. If you have the talent, we are here to help you out, right? With these spirit, I am here to help you out, dear friends. thank you very much. Join us for history optional coming soon. Very soon, coming soon at Future India Eluru branch. Thank you very much.